What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. Super excited, so I'm just gonna keep this short. I am now installing the rear 5-lug conversion, rear disc conversion. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just get started on it. Enough talking, let's go. So I'm already gonna start taking apart the drum trailing arm. So the first thing you're gonna do, what I would suggest doing is taking off the cables first. I would just suggest getting this out of the way in the first place, just kind of push them through. So what I kind of found helped out is using this guy, just to kind of so yeah, once you have that, I'll push through. On the bottom, there's just two brackets you'll want to reach. So there's one right here, and there's one down over there by the actual, like where it comes out. So those two brackets, and last bracket is over on the trailing arm, which I'm just gonna leave that alone because I'm taking off the entire trailing arm. So another thing you might want to get out of the way as well is just take off that brake line, loosen it, take it off, just because that's one thing you don't want to forget whenever you have this whole assembly drooping down. So just kind of get all the little things out of the way first, then we'll start worrying about getting everything else. So make sure the cable goes through. Then I'm going to remove the brackets. I'm going to remove this line right here, and then I'm going to remove the sway bar connected to the trailing arm, and then from there I'll start removing all the major mounting points. So this brake line is just a 10 mil. So just loosen that up. Be careful with any sort of brake lines, and then also you want to have like some sort of drain pan or something, just because this is going to be leaking a lot of brake fluid. After you have the brake line off, disconnected, you'll see that the actual rubber brake hose connected to the trailing arm, it's held on by this little C-clip. So you'll want to get some sort of like a flathead or a little chisel or something, and just kind of hammer it off lightly. You'll see that C-clip holding it, and you just want to get it off, just hammer it off lightly. Alright, and here's that little C-clip, and then the hose drops, and that's all free. Went ahead and removed the two 12mm bolts that hold up the cable brackets. So I dropped the cable, and I also went ahead and removed the front trailing arm mounting bolts. So those are two 17mm bolts, and just be careful with these. Make sure you keep track because they're two different sizes, so you want to make sure you put the right size back, which the long bolt is going to be towards the front of the car. So long bolt goes towards the front. I just got that stuff out of the way, just so I won't really have to go under the car, deal with the front that much anymore. So I'm now going to work on the sway bar end link right here. So my car originally didn't come with the sway bar. I just got the Suspension Techniques front and rear sway bar kit. So it comes with all the mountings you would need to mount this rear sway bar on. So these are, it's a 14mm bolt, and then there's a 14mm nut on the other side. So you'll just need to loosen that, and it's pretty much just like an L bracket. So you'll just want to keep that on the actual sway bar itself, just kind of disconnect it from the trailing arm, and that's it. So 14mm wrench on here. So bolt, washer, nut. I'll probably make another video explaining the sway bar install, just because I wasn't making videos when I installed this. I installed a lot of my suspension stuff before I ever thought about making a YouTube channel. So if you guys do want to see like run through an install of this sway bar, just go ahead and comment down below. Alright, and just in case, it's probably safe to assume that this and this is gonna be fairly hard to get off, so I like to give it a little spritz of WD-40 or any sort of penetrating oil, and just kind of let that soak for a little bit. Go ahead and do that before you start removing everything, just to be safe. And as you probably guessed, the next thing I'm going to take off is this bolt for the control arms, so the lower control arm and the toe arm. So this one bolt pretty much goes from over here all the way through to over here, so it's a really long bolt. So you'll want to put and this is a 17, so you want to put a 17 wrench, and then just go ahead and loosen that, and then you'll have both control arms free. And then you'll go ahead and remove this guy right here. That's a 17 millimeter as well. And once you have that, the bottom is pretty much free. It's all free, and the last thing that's holding it up is going to be this guy. What I do is just break this loose and keep that bolt there for support. Then go ahead and worry about this, trying to break the ball joint loose, because ball joints really suck to get free for the most part. So once you get this free, the last thing holding it up is this guy, and then you'll just kind of pick it up with your hand, kind of take some tension off. You can pull that guy off, and then it'll be free to go. Alright, I just pulled that bolt out. It's really loose. Now I just need to take this castle nut off. I'm lifting it up with my arms and legs, and that castle nut's off. This whole thing should come right out. Just like that. There you have it, just a blankness. Just to give you a better idea, since it's all empty, the trailing arm goes through here, and then you'll see the two mounting points right there. There's the brake line, and then this is the sway bar. So you could kind of see the sway bar is just it just has this L bracket, the end. This is the end link. So I'll show you guys how to put this on, because there's like a certain process that works to actually get this bolted onto the new trailing arm. So now we have it off. Let's clean all this up and then get the new trailing arm on. Alright, so just to make it easier, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rotor and the caliper bracket on now before I have it on the car. And just to keep the rotor in place better, I'm doing the same thing for the rear as I am for the front. So I'm just going to use these to hold down the rotor. So put these guys on. Then I'm going to go ahead and bolt the rotor bracket on like that. And then I'll go ahead and start putting this on the car. Since I'm putting these brackets on, I'm just going to go ahead and put these slider pins on as well. Make sure you get this nice caliper grease. Grease these. So you do got to kind of push these in pretty good, just because it's going to be like a pretty airtight seal, especially with this grease. And since I cleaned the inside of the brackets out really well with brake cleaner and everything, clean them pretty well, so I'm gonna make sure I'm pretty generous with the grease I'm putting on here. Make sure you get that grease in there. Alright. Then these are 14s right here, 14mm bolts. And these go right there, just like you've seen before. So I went ahead and ran those in, and go ahead and all right, and there is the caliper bracket all ready to go. Everything is looking pretty good right now. Now to get this guy on. So the trick I'm going to use is the same trick I used to get it off. I'm going to go ahead and set the bottom on my knee. Set the bottom of my knee, help lift it up with my knee, and I'm going to go ahead and put the castle nut up on this so that could hold it. Then I'm going to throw this bolt in right here to kind of hold it in place, and then from there I could start getting everything else on. Alright, so I'm holding it. Now to put this castle nut in place. So you just kind of want to thread it on just so it could hold it up like that. So now that's holding it. And I'll get this bolt. So I decided to be a little bit smarter and use a jack to hold it up. I went through and just tightened everything down. The last thing I need to do is get this sway bar end link on here. So the easiest way to do this is to loosen this guy off, loosen it, and mount this L bracket on here first. So mount that on here. Once it's mounted on the trailing arm, then put the end link onto that L bracket. Alright, so once you get the caliper bracket mounted up, you're just going to want to do typical brake installation. So you just want to get the little hardware kit on here. And these little hardware kits should come whenever you get your brake pads. It should come with it. Don't stress it. Just grease it up. Put some grease where the pads are actually going to be sliding in and out. Do not get it on the rotor. If you do, just clean it with some brake cleaner. You should be good. Also, just apply a little bit of this grease onto the little tabs on the pad right here. Alright, once you have the pads on there, just kind of press it up against the rotor so you have some space. And you'll just want to put this guy over. And it'll push the pins in a little bit. And then you'll just want to put these on. These are 12mm bolts that hold the actual caliper on itself. You kind of work to align it right, just because this little top spring is trying to push it out. Go ahead and tighten it, and the last thing you're going to want to do is just actually connect the line. Make sure whenever you put this line on, you use new crush washers. It's very important, because if you reuse your crush washers, you're going to be leaking fluid. Then just get the banjo bolt, put a crush washer right there, put it through, put your next crush washer, just fit it on there. And then this one should be a 14mm bolt. So 14, and then these are two 12s. Just go ahead and tighten those up, and then that should be good to go. Alright, so I got the caliper on right here. The next thing you're going to want to do is get that cable through. And this cable just gets bolted up right there. And you want to attach that to the actual little lever right there. So for this bracket to go on right there, those are actually going to be two 12mm bolts. Then this right here just uses like a little pin. So just go ahead and put that on, and then you just want to bolt up all those little brackets underneath the car, put it inside the car, and you're golden. Alright, so this guy is all done, ready to go. Everything's bolted up, got the cables ran through and everything. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do next, just run through every single bolt I've touched and just make sure everything is tight. I recommend doing that as well, just in case, you know. It's always good to just double, triple check everything, especially if you just got done taking apart the entire suspension. It's really good to just be safe, you know. Along with this, since I am going to a 17 instead of a 16, I already went ahead and adjusted the ride height just a little bit, just raised it up half an inch, and we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to be adjusting for quite some time. The next thing I want to let you guys know is, if you are, so since I'm adjusting my ride height and everything like that, I'm also gonna be adjusting the camber. So I'm kind of playing with the ride height and alignment. So I do have this adjustable toe arm, and then the adjustable camber arm right there. So this adjusted toe, pretty much it goes in and out. So you'll have your trailing arm doing this when you adjust the toe, and then obviously camber up here you're gonna have when you adjust it out, in and out, it adjusts the wheel like this. So since I'm adjusting ride height, all of that is gonna get messed up. So if you do have a CB7, if you are looking to lower it or do anything like that, I definitely recommend this toe arm, just because the stock toe adjustment is only by this little shim. So if you are looking to adjust the ride height in the rear, definitely need to pick one of these up, or your toe is going to be so off and you're going to be running through rear tires like nothing, because toe wears out tires faster than camber. So it's definitely more important to adjust your toe than adjust your camber. If you're on a budget and trying to choose between the two, definitely go for the toe arm. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up here. I know you guys were looking forward to seeing the new wheels on there and seeing it all ready to go, but this is going to be a long process, and I want to get the front done first so I could kind of adjust ride height and alignment and everything when it's all on the ground. So with that said, if you guys did enjoy this video, go ahead and thumbs up, and if you guys are looking forward to seeing everything complete and the new wheels on the car and the big brake setup, go ahead and subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode.